And let's see what we have to study today in form of meditation. And today's meditation number 16. It is from an Upanishad. It's called as Isavasya Upanishad. It's a short Upanishad. It's a, see, Upanishad means it is a source of knowledge. And the central theme of all these Upanishads is Atma. They all describe Atma. The goal of Upanishad is what? To make us know about Atma, and also they help us to claim Atma as my real nature and drop the body and mind as an appearance. So this verse says that Atma is got six or different, it has got about 7 or 8 different characteristics of Atma. Like we have seen Katha Upanishad, we have seen Mundak Upanishad, we have seen other different Upanishads so far. So this Upanishad also tells us different characteristics. Number 1, there are 2 types of characteristics. So one is at the individual level, another is at the totality level. The first thing it says is Shukram. Sa Pariga Shukram Akayam Avranam. Okay, we'll see the meaning of each one and what they mean. Shukram means self-effulgent. Self-effulgent means what? This consciousness does not require another light to illuminate. We have seen one verse in meditation before, which says Natatra Suryo Bhati. That means in that Atma, there is nothing else except Atma. It is pure effulgent principle. And this pure consciousness, effulgent principle, it reveals what? It reveals the sound. It reveals the form. It reveals the smell. It reveals the touch. So different sense objects are revealed by this Atma. The 3 states of waking, dream, and sleep are also revealed by this consciousness. That is why it's called as Shukram. Shukram means revealer, illuminator. Through the gross body, I experience the gross world. Through the mind, I experience the dream. Through the causal body, I experience the blankness in sleep. So 3 states belong to the 3 bodies. They do not belong to me, the consciousness. They are the mediums which I take and I drop. In the dream state, I drop the waking medium. I will drop the waking gross body. And I am therefore with the subtle body. When I'm in sleep, I drop both the bodies, the gross body and the subtle body. And I am with Shukram. That Shukram means what? Pure consciousness. Atma is different. It is unconnected with the 3 bodies. See, each of these verses of meditation, they help me to go deeper and deeper and get used to the orientation of Atma. That is why I'm taking these verses. Because our mind normally goes into the gross world and then gets absorbed. These verses, they help us to bring the mind closer to Atma, move away from the world of objects. The next term used is Akayam. Akayam means it is without the subtle body. The Atma doesn't have any subtle body. It doesn't have mind. It's unconnected with the mind. Asnaviranam, snava. That means it is without any nadis. See, nadis means we have seen in yoga, we have learned there are nadis in the body. Nerves, through which the strength, the strength is circulated, the energy is circulated through the nadis. throughout the body. So, but Atma doesn't have this. It is the body. The gross body is with nadis, but Atma doesn't have, it's a consciousness illuminated principle. Shuddha. Shuddha means it doesn't have the causal body. It doesn't have any impurities of the karmas, like Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma. All this belong to the causal body. It is uncontaminated by these three bodies. In short, what it means is it is not the gross body, it is not the subtle body, it is not the causal body. So in Nirvana Shatkam, in verse number 3, I was telling you about meditation. All the verses of this Nirvana Shatkam, they are all meditative verses. Here it talks about all the qualities of the mind. I am not the Atma, it doesn't have any likes and dislikes. It doesn't have greed. It doesn't have delusion, pride, jealousy. It doesn't have any duty to perform. There is no wealth. All the wealth is only for the body. When I say I have a house, I have a car, all this is with reference to the body only, nothing to do with Atma. All the pleasures belong to the mind. So the self is never bound. I am of the nature of Atma. That means this consciousness is not gained by me. Shastra only, the scriptures only discover the nature, that's all. It removes the covering. That Atma is auspicious. Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham, Shivoham. That is what the scriptures, the scriptures are telling us again and again. Aprameyam, that's another word which is used here. Aprameyam means it is not an object, because it is the subject. Apapa vidadam. Apapa vidadam means it doesn't have punyam and papam, therefore it doesn't have death and birth and death. Birth and death comes only because of the punya papam in our account, and these 6 indicators which we have seen are to be used at the body and the mind level. That means when I meditate, I say I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the pure consciousness which is aware of the body. At the external level, at the total level, Atma at total level, how do we meditate? We meditate as Kavihi. That means this pure existence principle is omniscient. Omniscient, it knows everything in the world, because there is only one consciousness. In the individual body and all bodies, there are not many Atmas. There is only one Atma. So the Lord of this body, who is the Lord of the body? It is pure consciousness. And the Lord of all the bodies, the same pure consciousness. Therefore, we say it is only one, ekam, non-dual principle. With reference to bodies and minds, there are differences. But with reference to the sphere of the body, there is no difference. Upadesha Sara says very clearly, with reference to the body, gross body and subtle body, there is a difference between Jiva and Ishvara. That means between me and the God, there is a difference in the body. Who is Ishvara? Who is God? God is the entire world. What we see in the outside in the entire world is God. That's what he says. In Bhagavad Gita, he says, I am the whole world. So what is the difference between me? It's only the body to body difference. But the sphere of the body, the sphere of the world is one. From the standpoint of their true nature, the supreme reality alone is. Upadesha Sara is a beautiful work written by Ramana Maharishi. One Atma lends light to all the minds and bodies. Paribhu. Paribhu means what? It is Karanam. Atma is Karanam, the cause. And the world is the Karyam, the effect. Swayambhu. Swayambhu means it can exist itself independently. It is not born of something. The body is born because of karma. Consciousness is not born because of karma. It gets only reflected in the mind when the mind comes up. Anatma is born out of Atma. That means the spiritual being is the essence of the entire creation. Paryagat. Paryagat means all pervading. Vishnu. Vishnu means what? Vishnu, what we see in the Perumal temple, is all pervading. The form, one form of Vishnu represents all forms, the entire universe. Paryagat. Paryagat means consciousness is all pervading. One principle, see, we can't put any form to this consciousness because it is invisible principle. Arthan Vyadat Chasha Batibhya Samabhya. One Lord allocates duties to 14 Prajapatis. Prajapatis are nothing but different controllers of the universe. For example, the sun is one controller, moon is another controller, Agni, fire is another controller, Apaha, water is another controller. We say that all these forms which we see, the sun, there is a being. Like for this body, there is a soul. For each of this, there is a soul behind, which is called as Devata. And these Devatas, they manage the cosmic forces. They say there are 3.3 million cosmic forces in the world. The Upanishads also describe the number of cosmic forces. Very beautiful. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. They say there are so many cosmic forces, 3.3 million. And it says that each of these cosmic forces is responsible for only that aspect of creation. Fire principle is only a cosmic, there is a Devata, Agni Devata is there only for the fire. Varuna Devata is water. The Devata behind water, which we say in all the rituals, we say we hold the water in our hand and then we chant some mantras. That means we, in front of the Agni Devata or the Varuna Devata, we chant the scriptural ritualistic mantras. We take them as a witness to our rituals. So we learn to look at the entire universe with the Shastric spectacle. That means I am that pure consciousness, one consciousness which illumines this entire creation. Now, what is the benefit of doing this? The benefit is, number one, I come to know more about my mind. I also come to remove the delusions in my mind. When I do this, remove the delusions, and I know the mind as mind objectively, I get the strength of Atma, which is the greatest strength we can depend on. There is no other strength in this universe except the strength of this consciousness, which each one of us has. At the core of our being, this consciousness is the real strength. At any time, we can invoke this strength and we can get the blessing to face the world. This is what this particular verse is teaching us about the core nature of Atma in our own intellect. It is not a form which I see in a temple. That is a stepping stone in my spiritual exercise. It is not I go all the way to Gangotri or the Himalayas to go to one Tirtha Sthan. That is the stepping stone. But the ultimate in spirituality is seeing that God in me as me. That consciousness principle, one principle which is the adhishthanam, which is the substratum, Once I know this principle, when I know this principle called as Atma, the scriptures tell me the knower becomes that Atma. That's all. This is said in Mundaka Upanishad. Okay, so that's about this verse. It's a beautiful verse from Isavasya Upanishad. It's a Upanishad which has got Isavasya Upanishad is a Upanishad, very, very difficult Upanishad to understand for beginners. That's why we take simpler Upanishads like Kaivalya Upanishad, uh, uh, Keno Upanishad. These are simple Upanishad. This Ishavasya Upanishad is got a lot of double meanings in the verses, except this verse. This verse is a simple verse which is straight telling us what the Atma is. Okay, so with this, we will start our meditation practice. Number 16. Please close your eyes. I am aware of my body. I am aware of my mind. When the awareness gets reflected in the thoughts of my mind, I become a jiva. This reflection in the mind is called as the ego, I. Throughout my waking state, I experience the world as ego, I. This waking ego is not permanent. It is not seen in the sleep state. In the sleep state, it is the sleeper I. The seer never stops witnessing the mind. I am the seer, immortal. There is no arrival or departure for the seer. Body comes, body goes. Mind comes, mind goes. Atma is not connected with the three bodies. I am in time, I am beyond time. Time comes and goes in me. The pure awareness principle. I am the pure light of consciousness. I have no more ignorance about myself. I alone am. Om Asato Ma Sádgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. Okay. Uh, in the chat, we have one question from Amianso. Akasha or space is within consciousness, and hence we should meditate on the consciousness and not on space. Am I correct in my understanding? Meditating on the space is the first step. This will help us to understand how to meditate on consciousness. So, it's only a step 1 and step 2. Initially, we will have difficulty in meditating on Atma, the pure, invisible Atma. Therefore, the scriptures tell us, meditate on space first. You look at space, you contemplate on space. Space can accommodate the whole universe. It is formless. Similarly, consciousness is formless. It can accommodate the entire cosmos. Space is a product. It is born in time. Atma is not a product. It is never born. So we have to go step by step. But first is go to space. In fact, if you want to go a little bit further, we can say, start with the 5 koshas. That means I say I am not the Annamaya kosha. I am not the Pranamaya kosha. I am not the Manomaya kosha. I am not the Vijnanamaya kosha. I am not the Anandamaya kosha. These are all the dresses which I wear. So drop the dresses, come to the Atma, the Sakshi. Each of the koshas is a content. For example, the Manomaya kosha is a content of the Pranamaya kosha. Content means it is superior. Compared to the Annamaya, Pranamaya superior. Compared to Pranamaya, Manomaya superior. It's more subtler. It can fill in the, suppose you're focusing on the mind, you're not conscious of your prana, you're not conscious of your body. Your mind is focused, you are thinking about some project. So all the thoughts are running in your mind. You're constantly looking at every thought. What should be the first step? I should go and buy a ticket. I should do this. I should do this. 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So what happens is, when you are in a particular kosha, the mind, for example, then the prana and the Annamaya become hidden. Suppose you are meditating on the I am the karta, I am the doer, Vijnanamaya kosha. Then what happens? It will cover the mind. Suppose you meditate on the Anandamaya kosha, as we experience happiness. Meditate on the happiness which you experienced when you met your wife the first time, you know. So similarly, the happy, happier, happiest moments you can meditate. So slowly, when you meditate on those things, what happens is the lower koshas, they become dropped. And then Atma. Finally, when you say, I am Atma, the seer, the substratum, most important factor, you must remember the word Adhishthanam. Adhishthanam means it is the substratum for the entire universe. It is the substratum for not only my body. Like for example, you keep a desk. In a desk, you keep a book. The book is supposed to be, the desk is supposed to be the adhishthanam for the book. That means the table is holding the book. But the table itself is not, it is the ground, the earth is the adhishthanam for the table. Adhishthanam means it is the holding the, it is holding the table. So similarly, we go to the, what is holding the body? It is this consciousness. Like a book is held by the table is held by the earth, ground. What is holding this body is the mind. What is holding the mind? What is holding the body is the prana. What is holding the prana is the mind. What is holding the mind is the I, the doer. I, the ego. What is holding the ego is the Anandamaya Kosha, the happiness aspect. What is holding the Anandamaya Kosha is Atma. The holder of each of these koshas, you have to meditate. In meditation, should we try to go beyond the mind? Yes, of course, you have to go beyond the mind. You have to go even beyond the space, but slowly, slowly, you try to learn. Don't try to jump straight into Akasha and say, Akasha, I'm not the space. But it also depends on how much of meditation you have done in your life. You see, suppose, Amyanshu, you have done a fair amount of meditation. Maybe you can go straight to the mind. You can straight. It depends on each one. Each one's ability to meditate is totally different. Very, very different, because it depends on the structure of the mind. It depends on the agitations in the mind. It depends on the knowledge you have of the Atma, how much you have learned about this. But people who have done now for the last 4 months, the different texts, it should be fairly easy, because we have taken different steps. So in case you do still have some questions, Amyanshu, I can speak to you directly. Anybody else has any other questions?
Especially,
Bhawan?
regarding the topic of meditation,
Yes.
as you were saying, the question is, does meditation give us any benefit, and what's the purpose of doing it?
Yeah, it's a good question. See, the purpose of meditation is finally to understand who am I. Because through meditation, I can try to drop my body and say I'm not the body. Through meditation, I can drop the mind. I can say, I know all the worries which I have, I am not the mind. I am not the worries. But I am the one which is seeing the worry in my mind. So this way, meditation will help us to know a little bit more about our own nature, which is pure Atma.
That means through meditation, we can find out who am I?
Yes, you can. If you go deeper and deeper, yes, definitely you will come to a point, and the more you do meditation, the more you will come to know who am I. You will know for sure that I am not the body. I am not the mind. These two are the biggest hurdles we all have. And the moment we understand our mind, especially our mind, because body also, okay, we know that body goes away. That is not me. But mind is a problem because mind is very, very close to Atma. And the more, and the meditation helps us to realize this mind and drop the mind. Because scriptures are the final proof for Atma. Scriptures tell me I am not the mind. Therefore, I learn to drop the mind as not me. Yeah, anybody else has a question?
But through meditation only we can control the mind, isn't it?
Yes, the agitations of the mind, all the problems connected with the mind, we can learn how to live with the problems, how to change the mind, how to change the pattern of our thoughts. It is all possible. Every one of us can learn to change the quantity of thoughts which we entertain, to change the quality of the
Yeah,
thoughts we entertain, to change the pattern of thoughts. I become more sattvic. That means I think good things. I become more positive. I drop my negative qualities. Again and again, I become firm. I develop my willpower. My mind listens to me because of meditation. I develop the strength of the mind. There is tremendous amount of power which comes in once you learn how to control the mind. They say you control the mind, you can control the world. You master the mind, you can master your life. Because the mind is an instrument, like you control a car, like you control a remote in your hand to turn the channels in your TV. Similarly, I use my mind. I change the channel. If the one channel is disturbing me, I change the channel. A channel of, say, suppose the office thoughts keep on coming and disturbing me. Then what I do is I learn how to change the channel of my mind, drop that particular channel, go into a new channel. The new channel can be something good. Some can be some good experiences you have had or something nice. So this is the way we are able to control the mind, and controlling the sense organs and controlling the mind. Once we are able to achieve some success in these two things, the scriptures have really benefited us. That's all. I mean, whatever knowledge you get from the scriptures, if you are able to purify the mind, control the mind, reduce the thoughts, change the mind as and when you want, okay, some problems will keep coming to us, but I know how to handle it. That's all. So that is a tremendous
So,
benefit of meditation. Anybody else?
so in a way, it's controlling the monkey mind,
Yeah, that's correct.
right?
You control the monkey mind. You're right.
But does it meditation require desires or what?
No,
No,
it doesn't require
some
desires.
say,
It just you try to see. For example, I'm doing so many meditation sessions now. So you try to follow the same meditation at home also. Very easy. It is not difficult. Whatever you have learned in the class, you just
but
try to follow. That's all.
you see, like
You
some of these, even like this, what is his name, Ravana, you know,
Yeah, Ramana
they,
Maharishi.
they
Yeah.
all do meditation for certain purpose, right?
Yes.
Whether it's good or evil, that's the thing, you think,
Yes,
right?
that's correct. Different types of meditations are there. I mean, as long as you are comfortable with one of them, you can practice it. Any meditation you can choose. You don't have to be very particular about this or that. Anything which you are able to understand, which you can do, you try to do it regularly. That's all. Anybody else has a question?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, if there's no more questions, we'll continue our discussions next week. And uh, so next week we'll start with the actual verses on meditations. Just hear them out, and then we'll be. I think I may require another four or five sessions, or maybe 6 sessions for this year.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And good night to everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.